Long ago, in a sunny little town in Italy called Assisi, there lived a young man named Francis. Francis wasn't always a saint. When he was young, he loved parties, fine clothes, and having fun with his friends. He was the life of every celebration. His father was a wealthy cloth merchant, and Francis had everything a person could want. He dreamed of becoming a great knight and winning glory in battle. So off he went to war. But the battle didn't go the way Francis had hoped. He was captured and thrown into a dark, cold prison cell. He waited there for a whole year before his father finally paid for his release. But something happened in that quiet cell. Away from all the noise and parties, Francis started to think about his life in a whole new way. He started to wonder, was there something more important than being famous and having nice things? Then came the day that changed everything. While riding his horse through the countryside, Francis came face to face with a poor, sick leper. In those days, people were terrified of lepers. They would cross the street to avoid them. But something stirred in Francis's heart. He got off his horse, walked over to the sick man, and gave him a kiss of peace. In that moment, something changed inside him forever. He felt a joy he had never known before. Later, Francis would say that what seemed bitter to him had turned into sweetness. One day, while praying in an old, broken-down church called San Damiano, Francis heard a voice. It seemed to come from the painting of Jesus on the cross. The voice said, "Francis, repair my house, which is falling into ruins." Francis took those words literally. He started carrying stones and rebuilding the little church with his own 2 hands. But the message meant something even bigger. God was calling him to repair the whole church with love and kindness. Francis gave away his fine clothes and his money. He put on a simple brown robe, tied it with a piece of rope, and walked barefoot. He owned nothing. He called himself God's fool, and he was happy. Happier than he had ever been at any party. And something amazing happened. Animals seemed to understand Francis. Birds would land on his hands and sing with him. Fish would swim up to him. They say he even tamed a fierce wolf that had been terrorizing a town. Not with a sword, but with kindness and a gentle voice. Soon, other people heard about Francis and wanted to live the way he did. One by one, they came. They gave away their possessions, put on simple robes, and devoted their lives to helping the poor, caring for the sick, and preaching the good news of God's love. Francis lived a life of great joy, but also great suffering. He became sick and weak. Yet even in his pain, he never stopped praising God. He wrote a beautiful song called The Canticle of the Sun, thanking God for Brother Sun, Sister Moon, Brother Wind, and Sister Water, for all the beautiful things in the world. On October 3rd, in the year 1226, Francis passed from this world into the next. He was just 44 years old, but his light never went out. The religious family he started, the Franciscans, still exists today, 800 years later, serving the poor all over the world. So what can we learn from St. Francis? He shows us that true happiness doesn't come from having the most stuff or being the most famous. It comes from loving God, caring for others, especially those who are suffering, and treating all of God's creation with kindness and respect. St. Francis, pray for us.